What's going on? Today we are talking Knox County waterfront. Where is it? What is it? What zip codes actually have water frontage? Yes, we are surrounded in the Knoxville area by not tons, by a lot of water options, okay? Like Douglas, like Norris, like Cherokee, like Watts Bar. All of those are local lakes. However, none of those are in Knox County. So where is the Knox County water frontage? What does that look like? That's what this video is going to cover. We're going to dive into some maps. We're going to talk to my water consultant, aka my husband, because he's a fisherman. He's a fisher guy. And he knows Tennessee River quite well. He knows French Broad quite well. So we're going to chat with him about his perspective, kind of north of the river, and little thoughts on Fort Loudon. So let's dive in and get going. All right, so this is a map of Knox County, and I'm going to show you this in the larger context of the Tennessee River watershed, but just want to point out to you that if we're looking at this map, a couple things we're noting. That we see, okay, there's water here, all along this way. That is all Tennessee River water. We see there's water up here. We see some water going this way. We see some water going that way. So I just want to point out to you that we're specifically talking about waterfront and waterfront. Where would you buy a waterfront property in Knox County? What are the options? What are the bodies of water? All right, so this is just a larger picture of what's going on. So the big kind of picture of all this is we have the Tennessee River. The Tennessee River is what is flowing directly through Knoxville, and it is connected to and is fed by places like Norris, like Cherokee, like Douglas. You've got the Clinch River, etc. So just want to point out to you as well that this is a whole watershed system. We have a bunch of dams. Tennessee Valley Authority is who is kind of in charge of the water, I should say. So just want to show you this larger picture. So that being said, this is a rough sketch of the overall water picture, because what I wanted to do is show you like where are the lakes and where is the water. Okay, this is a rough sketch. I tried to be as close to these lines as possible. I tried to overlay it. I spent way too much time on it. So this is like a very rough sketch, but gets to the idea and point that these lakes in the area, Watts Bar, Norris, Cherokee, Douglas, are all surrounding, and even Tellico down here, are all surrounding Knox County, but are not in Knox County. However, we do access them. So for example, I live in Seymour. I live right on the Knox County, Blount County line. Somewhere around here is where I live. Well, we use both the Tennessee River, which we go to a part that's within Knox County, but we also go to Douglas Lake, and that's in Sevier County. So that's pretty common. People will access both the Tennessee River and then lakes, because to me, the Tennessee River, unless you're looking at Fort Loudon, but if you're up this way, this is like too narrow, which I'll get into that. So that being said, let's look at specific bodies of water in Knox County. So first of all, let's look east of downtown. So downtown is here. Downtown. East of that, you have a little bit of Tennessee River, and then the river upstream splits into two other rivers, the Holston River and the French Broad. So Holston River, north, French Broad just south, kind of, like it really kind of runs what feels more parallel, but you get what I'm saying. So, all of this is all in Knox County, which is interesting because on the other ones, you're going to see that like east, like west, north, and west, south, southwest. Oh my gosh. This is why I shouldn't make these videos at the end of the day. Southwest of downtown and northwest of downtown, you see that the county line is based on where the water is flowing versus over here we've got a lot more like Knox County property that's containing those waters, or where these bodies of water sit. So that being said, what locations or areas of town can you find waterfront property? So here are the corresponding zip codes. South Knox is both Tennessee River here, as well as the French Broad. So I want to point out that South Knox is huge. It's kind of the only one here where we see this like multiple body of water situation, because it's just so expansive. But yeah, you could be in South Knox and you could be on French Broad water, or you could be in South Knox and on Tennessee River / Fort Loudon. I want to point out to you that the more west you go, and I'll talk about this in a second when we get to the stuff that's to the west, the more west you go, the more expensive you're going to get in general. Okay. So the other thing I want to point out to you is kind of the differences between the Holston and the French Broad. So let's just go ahead and dive into what my husband is saying about the differences. The main thing that he's going to point out to you is French Broad, it tends to be wider, a little deeper. It's more navigable for a longer stretch than the Holston is. The Holston thins out and gets pretty shallow pretty quickly. Although if you go upstream, like if you go to this golf course up here, if you go towards Kodak, I actually have a client who literally just purchased Holston River frontage property, and that is a very wide stretch where his property is. However, to navigate to downtown, that would take some high knowledge, some finagling, and the water to be up. So anyways, just want to point that out to you. So let's listen into what Shay is saying about Holston River versus French Broad. So.
Yes.
Shay, water consultant. Tennessee River water consultant. That's not his actual what he does, but he knows a thing or two.
Far from it.
He knows a thing or two about
bottled waters.
No. Okay. Listen.
Tap water.
Tennessee River through downtown. Above downtown, you have the Holston River and you have the French Broad River.
Sounds right.
So when the two rivers come together to form the Tennessee River, which one do you most often use and why? Holston or French Broad?
Tennessee River.
Oh my God. Okay.
I would take the right turn. It forks.
Yeah.
And you got the French Broad going on the right.
Yes.
Holston's to the left.
Yeah, if you're facing away from downtown.
Yeah, you're going upriver. Upriver. It's called upriver.
Why is it called upriver?
Because you.
Wouldn't Holston also be going upriver?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're
I'm just saying as you're going upriver from downtown.
I see. Yes, I'm with you.
You don't go downriver from downtown.
So why do you go French Broad, not
Your
up
people's
to
going to be confused over that.
Okay, I've already shown them some maps. This is...
Well, the whole upriver, downriver thing now, I feel like we got off topic.
Okay, tell me about French Broad versus Holston. Why do you use French Broad more often than the Holston?
Because I can get the boat up the French Broad.
So Holston gets too narrow or gets too shallow? Okay.
French Broad gets shallow. You can go quite a ways before it gets too shallow. Holston, I feel, gets pretty shallow pretty quick.
Yeah, the Holston gets shallow, but upriver it does widen. Like by Kodak. Up that way.
So, well, you can't get that far.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Never
You've
been there.
not been up that far.
Yep.
Okay.
May have seen it, but not been up there by boat.
Now, would you say that Holston and or the French Broad are appropriate bodies of water, at least within Knox County, for like things like your pontoon boat and pulling, like skiing, water skiing?
Which one you asking about?
Either one. I don't think either one is appropriate for that.
Oh, no. Well, if you go like French Broad. So you go to the right, Loop River. To the right, it's French Broad. Goes to Douglas Lake. The dam, Douglas
Yeah,
Lake.
way up.
But you can go up through there for a few miles probably. And it's deep enough to
do that.
take pontoon boats. And I don't know how many miles. Maybe it's just a couple miles. Maybe it's 4 or 5 miles. I can't remember. But you can do pontoon boats, ski boats, whatever. You gotta it narrows, and you gotta know it a little bit or learn it. You need to learn it and go.
Yeah.
So learn it.
Okay. Changing gears in the opposite direction.
Now, when you're skiing and stuff, you always need something wide. So it's not wide enough, I don't think.
Yeah,
I
don't think it's wide enough.
I've seen people up there doing it. You can't make no big wide turns at pulling somebody out.
Okay, I hope that was helpful. Also, I want to apologize for the lighting. It was horrible, but you got to take what you can get. You know what I'm saying? My water consultant, he's pretty tough to deal with. So anyways, as I mentioned, South Knox, huge down here. You've got Tennessee River and French Broad. And then East Knox this is East Knox here, like north of the river. Has also Holston River frontage, as well as Carter Strawberry Plains. This area, it's kind of loose, like when you're in Carter versus Strawberry Plains versus, I really don't mean this in a negative way. I'm just saying this is more of like when are you East Knox? When are you Carter? It's kind of a loose area, like not no man's land, but it's not as specific as like saying, oh, I'm in Concord, oh, I'm in South Knox, oh, I'm in Farragut. Holston Hills, you've got a golf course over here, Holston Hills Country Club. Beautiful properties in Holston Hills, beautiful water frontage. And then you've got a little bit of new construction, like Smith built building along this, and just some like kind of cool options here that are off of the Holston River. Again, part of this gets super narrow, part of it's super wide. To me, French Broad and Holston River on either end are not really like recreational. You could fish there. We've gone and like there's some shoals where it's like high water and you park your boat and you sit there, and I sit there and I drink margaritas or whatever beverage while the husband fishes. But I don't think of it as like a recreational. Those as recreational, like water ski, blah, blah, blah. I just think they're too narrow. There's too much going on. So anyways, that is, as it relates to zip codes that are connected to the Holston River. You're going to find cheaper real estate here. You're going to find larger lots in general. And in general, it's going to be cheaper. Now, if we're talking about Holston Hills prime real estate, it's going to be a little cheaper than Lakemore Hills. It's going to be a little bit cheaper than like your South Knox, Lakemore Hills, or your Cherokee Boulevard stuff north of the river. It's going to be the most expensive in the East Knox area. But the further out you get, the less essentially you are going to pay. Even just for context, recently had a client looking at 2 different properties. One west in like the Sequoia Hills area. The house should have been a teardown. It's not a teardown. It should have been. The lot itself, gorgeous. It was listed at just under $2 million, and then up the Holston River, larger house, newer house, like by 20, 30 years newer, better a lot overall. It was almost it was $700,000 less. So huge price difference depending on where you are, and what kind of price point, what kind of area you're wanting to be in. So just note that the further west you go, in general, the more expensive. The further east, the less. Again, super general. So let's go now to the more west side of town. So west of downtown, a couple things I want to show you on this map. This black line is a rough sketch of the Knox County line. This all here is Blount County. However, This is Knox County, and then on the other side of the river is all Knox County. So just kind of want to point out to you where we are in relation to what's happening with Knox County and Knox County water frontage. So then if we take this one step further, I think that this may be blocking that. Okay, so Tennessee River, Fort Loudon Lake, one and the same. Tennessee River flows longer than Fort Loudon Lake, but Fort Loudon Lake is in the flow of Tennessee River. Listen, I'm not a river and lake expert, and I don't know the correct terminology, but Fort Loudon Lake is the Tennessee River. The Tennessee River is Fort Loudon Lake. It's like when I used to teach a square versus a rectangle. A square is a rectangle, but not all rectangles are squares. It's the same thing. Literally the same thing. Fort Loudon Lake is part of the Tennessee River, but not all the Tennessee River is Fort Loudon Lake. Or you know what I'm saying. Anyways, okay. Let's let that go. So what I wanted to show you then on this map, why won't it go backwards? So we have the Knox County line. So let's look at zip codes. So we have South Knox here. Then we have on the opposite side of the river, north of the river, we have Cherokee Boulevard. We've got Sequoia Hills. Okay, so let's look at exactly where those are. So this little loop-de-loo here, this is Sequoia Hills, Cherokee Boulevard, high dollar real estate. This is an area that I consider like, if we had like a Beverly Hills, that's where that would be. Sequoia Hills. Across the river from Sequoia Hills and Cherokee Boulevard, this part of South Knox, especially this area, until you get to kind of the University of Tennessee Medical Center, this is all an area called Lakemore Hills, and both sides of the water here are going to be multi-million-dollar properties. Now, the more east you go, the less of a price point you're going to see in general, depending on obviously what the property is, but overall higher prices are going to be west of downtown when it comes to water frontage and also in general. So if you, so that's Lakemore Hills here. Then we have, north of that, we have 37919. So that's Cherokee Boulevard, Sequoia Hills. And that's kind of all this more in-town Bearden area. As we go out west, we've got 37922, North Shore, Westland, and Concord. Big mistake here. This should say Concord. And actually, just for emphasis, so I can show you that, let me just fix that right now because someone's gonna come at me. So this should also include Concord. And Concord is huge. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so just so we're on, now the fonts are all jacked up. It is what it is. We're gonna have to let it go. Okay, so Concord really runs from like here, and you've got Chodo down here, so that's all 37922, and then you've got some Farragut water frontage here, which is, this is kind of following along a railroad track, but is all part of the same body of water essentially. So these are West Knox, excuse me, these are going to be your highest dollar waterfront properties within Knox County in general. I'm making a huge generality, but for the most part, if this is Westland, what is this? Now I made this a typo. Leasehold. Westland. There we go. Okay. So that is all Tennessee River, Fort Loudon Lake. This would be where you would want to, like, you can tell here that this is a much wider area. Fort Loudon Lake, as Shay mentioned, is going to be a better option for like pontoon boating, wakeboarding, water skiing. Don't get me wrong. You could totally do those things here. To me, it's just too narrow. Like when I think of those things, I think of a wide open space, and I don't think that Holston River or French Broad offer either of those. I think you need to be downriver personally, and I don't think you would also be doing that in the river. There are people that paddleboard right along this, and I think it's literally bananas because there's just so much craziness going on. So that's my water safety opinion. Okay, Fort Loudon. Thoughts on Fort Loudon?
Should go downriver.
Downriver. Mm-hmm.
Downtown. Fort Loudon. It's fine. It's big.
Yeah, it's bigger.
Very big.
Wider.
Very big. it goes forever. I don't know much about which way to go and do this and that. I don't know. It seems plenty big.
You always go upriver.
All kinds of. You could definitely play down that way. Like if you want to live on a lake and you want a pontoon and you want to.
This is like making the camera shake.
Inner tube.
Yeah.
Wakeboard. What do these youngsters do now? Surf wake surf is one. Behind the big boat.
Oh, it makes the wake. Yeah.
But if you don't do all that, yeah, Fort Loudon's great because it's so wide. I feel you get down that way. As soon as you go a little ways from downtown, it opens up.
Where do you fish at?
And there's no real hazards. Probably I don't know much about it down there.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's shallow spots, but I feel like for the most part it's pretty good.
Do you fish in anywhere in Knox County?
Well, this year ain't fished much, so I can't really speak on that.
In general, though, do you fish in Knoxville or do you go elsewhere? You go elsewhere.
I think the fishermen that get in their boat and they bass fish and stuff, yeah, that'd be great. Douglas, Fort Loudon.
But not like within Knoxville, really.
I like going to town so that has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. That's what I wanted to clarify. Appreciate
But I do fish upriver a little bit every now and then. Just break here and there.
Like still within Knox County?
Yeah, that's Knox County. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
French product.
Thank you so much. Now, the last one is Melton Hill. So Melton Hill is northwest of downtown Knoxville and is consistent of Hardin Valley and Karnes. So you can see this, I stopped it here because that's around the county line. And then if you go up further north, this goes into further of Melton Hill. But this area here is Melton Hill. And these are primarily the most option you're going to find is Hardin Valley 37932 and a little bit of Karnes. I would never ever say Karnes has water frontage. Technically does it? Yes. Would I say that Karnes offers waterfront properties? No, I would not say that. Would I even say Hardin Valley is a great option for waterfront? No, because there are so few options. They do exist. It is a much less area than, for example, all of this Tennessee River and Fort Loudon Lake, covering a lot more zip codes, a lot more land, and also into South Knox. So this to me, I would consider like, okay, how can I put this? This would be a perk of living in Hardin Valley. Like this is not, you're not going to Hardin Valley to look for waterfront property. Because if you're in West Knox, where are the better marinas, the better like options for that kind of stuff are going to be here. Now, if you want more rural, more out there, more like no one can find me kind of situation or vibe, you're gonna go with Melton Hill. Or maybe you are in Oak Ridge and you want to be in Knox County for whatever reason, maybe you're partial to a Knox County school over an Oak Ridge school, then maybe you might look at water frontage on Melton Hill in Knox County in Hardin Valley. But in general, I'm not saying that Hardin Valley is like a waterfront community. So anyways, that is your brief, hopefully kind of brief 101 about waterfront property within Knox County. I hope that this has been helpful, and I hope this kind of gives you a better picture of what water frontage is, again, specifically in Knox County. Check out other videos about Norris, about Douglas, all of my content on that stuff, but I just wanted to specifically show you waterfront options. What are the bodies of water? Where are they on the map? That was the entire goal, and I hope we reached it today. Obviously, would love your comments, would love your questions, and if you would like more content, as I always say, please click subscribe because I want to share all the things with you. I love doing this stuff, and so I want to share all this information with you. So I will catch you on the next video.